Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creative Leigh coming to you with video number 111 on Waitangi Day, February the 6th, 2022, on a beautifully cold and raining day here in Upper Hutt. Yep, we'll start straight in with the weather report. It's been ridiculously hot and humid the last few weeks, and we've had some much needed rain since, I guess, Friday evening. It's Sunday, almost late morning, almost lunchtime. And it's lovely, gentle, constant rain, which my lawn needs, the gardens need. And it's cool, and I'm so happy. And it's cool, and I'm wearing summer clothes, because usually summer clothes are too hot for me. But anyway. Cheers to the rain. So yeah, it's Waitangi Day, so I guess the equivalent of a New Zealand Day here in New Zealand. And we have tomorrow off work because as of the last few years, 2 or 3 years, we get Waitangi Day is now Monday-ized, or we have a day of observance on the next business day because if it falls on a weekend. What's going on? It's been a weird week. Yeah, it's been a weird week, like emotionally, I guess, anxiety-wise. I've stayed away from a lot of people, worked from home. As of Monday, with our increasing numbers, I mean, we're still only getting, I think yesterday, 240 cases, which we presume to be largely Omicron. So I guess in global standards, it's still pretty light, with still really low hospitalisations. Probably because we're highly vaxxed. Anyway, from Monday, things get a bit tougher in the office at work, as in everyone has to wear a mask except when you're sitting at your desk. So basically, if you're at your desk working, otherwise you've got to wear a mask and keep distance and all that. So even though up until now they've considered work a bubble, I guess with the extra contagiousness of the Omicron and the newer variant of that, like, I don't know, B52 version or whatever it is. Let's call it the Live Shack version. That is now in New Zealand, whatever. But anyway, I'm not going into the office. I'll just be working from home. I was sort of driving in a day the last couple of weeks, but I've decided that I'm not going to go into the office. I'm just going to work from home. We can work from home. We're encouraged to work from home. My aunt's hanging in there, Mark Clear. It's a tricky one. The medical opinion is that she's not yet at end of life. She has at least 6 months ahead of her. Therefore, it's not the right time to start, I guess, end of life care. I think she's struggling with that because this stage is very new. She's been slowly getting more and more ill with CORD for a while, but having recently had a really bad bout of pneumonia, and it's like, I've said it when my mum was sick, is that, you're sort of trucking along like this, slowly getting, less active and breathing getting worse. Then something happens, that you get a big illness, you drop right down, and then you bounce back, but you were here, but you bounce back to here, and you come along, then you get ill and you bounce back to here. So over time, you're bouncing back, you become a new normal, and I guess that she's at that new normal, but that new normal means she's not on her own, she's not at home, she's now in care, she's needing assistance to do things that she didn't need assistance to do. So she needs assistance to go to the bathroom, and she's struggling, and she's got more pain now, and breathing's harder and all that. So I guess she's got to process that whilst being really ill, and she had sort of given up earlier in the week, and my cousin thought, perhaps she's at the end, and she was on increasing amounts of morphine and stuff, but the assessment is that she's not ready for that stage of life. So I guess my cousin's trying to get her to rally a bit, and I'd both be supportive but also like encouraging, and I guess that can feel like a little bit of pressure's being put on my aunt to, you know, tally ho, pip pip, you'll be right kind of thing. It's a really tricky situation. It's really hard because there's a point where you're just exhausted but your body is still fighting. So I don't know, hopefully she'll come to accept it so that she can then continue to participate in life, and like she has people who love her, and I don't know, it's a really tricky situation. So I've had a lot of anxiety this week about that. You know, Dad's doing okay. He's feeling a bit uncertain about, like right now he's sort of thinking, gosh, I'm struggling to do things because his joints are packing up, and I don't know, I'm going looking for a magnifying device or two for him this afternoon, because he's got to have some cataract surgery, some eye surgery, but his eyesight's pretty bad until that gets done. And he's trying to do some little hobby things and he can't read his rule. He's doing some designs for a friend to do some renovations of their property. And Dad had, again, he has the skills, but he can't read the millimeters on his rule. So anyway, I said, look, there's all this stuff in the hobby world that I'm sure we can find something that'll suit. So I'm thinking about getting him a little table lamp, because he said, oh, it'd be useful for the crossword. He does, you know, crosswords every morning and he can't read the crosswords. So I'm going to get a little hobby lamp for him that has a magnifier on it. I think they've got them at the warehouse. So I just want to get something that's local. I don't want to go with overseas shipping. So probably like $45 or something. And then also I've seen one which is like a little, it's like a little table, a little plastic table that has a magnifier with little legs that he could sit over, like when he's doing, I guess, drawing plans and stuff. I figure if I get him those two, because he said, oh, maybe it'll help him read in bed. So then I'm like, do I get one that has a cantilevered arm? But I don't know. I sort of thought, well, let's start with a couple of smaller things and just see if they help, and then we can look for some big booty bloody thing for him. But he's like, oh, you know, he's really excited about maybe giving a couple of things a go. So I need to do that, or order them and get them posted to him. Our borders are opening up, which is exciting. I mean, the government announced on Thursday what that looks like, a staged approach. Don't care about the detail, but essentially from end of February, people in Australia with New Zealand citizenship or residency can come back to New Zealand and not have to go into MIQ. So I think there's the normal things. You've got to have negative tests and all that when you leave, but you can go into just home isolation for 10 days, which is really great. And I got a little bit emotional because I'm like, you know, I can see my sister. I was talking to my ex-brother-in-law, he's messaging me, because he's saying, oh, when are you guys going to go over? He's trying to organise a trip over. And I'm like, don't worry about us. You haven't seen your kids for 4 years. You go, you know, see your kids and don't worry about me. I said, I'm probably going to go in October. As much as I'd like to go sooner, I don't have enough leave and I've got some big projects. So the earliest I can kind of see having a break would be October, which is my niece's 21st. I don't even have a passport right now. It expired 3 years ago and I haven't bothered getting it renewed because why would I? But I mean, you can get them pretty much overnight in New Zealand. It's pretty quick. So anyway, I'm very excited about that. I got a bit weepy about it because it's like I miss my sister so much, and I know, feel for Jason, my ex-brother-in-law, like, you know, hasn't seen his kids for 4 years, and that's hard. It's hard when, you know, your kids move to Australia for opportunities and to try and you can't get to see them. It's heartbreaking, right? Anyway, very excited about that. So guess what? This is a channel about cross-stitch. Who'd have thought? But, you know, it's also about cross-stitch within a context of I've been working from home, avoiding people. We're in the middle of a freaking pandemic. We've got, you know, our Omicron wave just started here in New Zealand. Basically what that means is, oh, and it's been raining since Friday evening. What that means is I got quite a bit of stitching done because I haven't gone and done anything. This we're leading into. And whenever I have these phone calls or do video chats or phone calls to dad, etc., I'm stitching. So I don't just talk to somebody and not stitch. Really thirsty. Okay, so I do have a little bit to show you. Not a lot of haul. Let's just finish that coffee. One little chart. I've had to be really good the last few months because there's been a few bills I've had to pay. But this is there's a Facebook group called, I'll put the name on the screen, Samplers something or other group, and via that there's a free chart from, it's an Inspiration Quaker, Mary Rose from Les Filles de Mimi. Here's it's like the Belgian chart, that's the address there. So basically on that, if you're a member of that Facebook page, you can get this chart. And thank you, Zeb, for pointing that out to me. And it's beautiful. So I joined the Facebook group because I wanted to get this legitimately. And it's just a sweet, sweet little Quaker design in the round with funny little people dancing. It's quite big. It's 279 by 279, so whoop whoop. Anyway, I downloaded that. I've also put it into, I've saved it into OneDrive so I can put it into pen and keeper if I want to. Charted for half a dozen colours, but you could do it mono. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's charted for 7 colours, 7 DMC, but you could totally do it monochromatic or pick 3 reds or something. So I don't know when I'm going to start it, but that's new to me. And the other thing that came in, very surprised, the mail seems to be getting better. Well, that's the other good thing about the border opening. More flights means hopefully USPS will start shipping to New Zealand again. Or they'll have to stop using that as an excuse for, because now the rumour is, oh, they've got a huge backlog. It's like, well, not to New Zealand you haven't, because you sent everything back. But anyway, we'll see. So my Tom and Lily order came in from France. So you may remember November's got delayed. It took ages to get, like 2 months to get here. And then I got December's 2 weeks later. And now I've got January's 2 weeks later. In fact, I have January's before I've paid for February, which is the first time. So something's happened. And her theme this month is, I guess, licorice all sorts. So we always get like just a little thank you for your order. So I do a monthly subscription to Tom and Lily. You can go to their website. She also sells stuff on Etsy. So it's Tom A Lily, A French for and, E-T. It's very, here's the address. Just showing you the bottom of the charts. Every month we get at least one little chart. These, very unseasonal for me because January is summer, and this has a house with a snowman on it, but just a little chart. A simple little chart, not my kind of thing, probably. We shall see one day, who knows. And then the colours were themed by, what did I say? Licorice all sorts. So they're just a whole lot of really bright pastels. I don't know if that might be a bit of a oxymoron, but whoops, we've lost man down. So for those not in the know, most months, most of the colours, oh, they smell so good. All of her stuff, and I've had this with her fabric as well, sort of has lemony. Like it must be the fixative she uses or something. And I know one must sniff one's floss. So yeah, most months we get 10 colours every month. Most of them are from her sort of standard range. So if you like a colour, you can go onto her website and you can order it, or more than one skein. Occasionally there's a one-off or an early release. I don't know why some of them come like this. She gives us a different range. I don't know why some of them come twisted and some of them come like this. That's not something I could look up and I haven't. So yeah, this month we got, this is where I do my fantastic French. Eben. I love that kind of grey blue. We've got Bleuette. I don't know, Bleuette. I should show you the colour. Myosotis. Glacier, thank God, a name I recognise. That's a really nice icy blue, as the name would indicate. We've got a brown, just from her Oars collection. No name. Bleu. That's a nice yellow. Kind of missing a non-mustardy yellow, so that'll be handy. I see some of these switching out from other things, so where I've kitted things up with what I had, some of these I'm like, oh, that yellow might be better than that other yellow. But Sorbet, that's a lovely rose. I've had this colour before. Draguet, that's the name of those sweets. And Powder or Poudre. It's a nice. And the green is Espoir or Hope. Nice appley green. The little freebie we got this month was also a packet of what are they called? Licorice all sorts, which I ate. They're not as good as New Zealand ones. I might send her a bag of the New Zealand ones so she can see what they should taste like. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10. So that was the freebie. We always get a little freebie something. Sometimes we get a little floss, which is my favourite. This time we got a little packet of sweets. So that was really nice to see that come in. And again, really excited that I finally got 1 month before I paid for the next month. It's always nice. Right, first up, let's take you on a little journey. I would consider myself a pretty experienced stitcher. I've been stitching for 100 years. I easily developed my style, okay, probably like 35 years-ish, give or take. I've developed my own way of my own style. I've been stitching that way for 100 years. I have stitched lots of things. I'm really good at maths. I can calculate the border. I have no problems calculating fabric size and starting and with enough border, and I never worry that I'm going to run out of fabric. One big exception in the past was when I stitched one of the Teresa Wentzler, I think it was the cottage, might be the cottage garden, English cottage sampler, and that was because the chart was wrong. I had a really old, early edition hand drawn chart, and I just went off the measurement and I didn't check the chart, and I calculated my fabric based on the, I don't know, whatever it was, 300 by 400 stitches. And as I started stitching, I've done quite a bit of stitching before I realised it wasn't. It was 450 by 350 or whatever it was. So I've ended up with a really tight margin, which is fine. I can sew some on and it can be stretched and covered. That's okay. But it did at least fit. I made a rookie mistake. You may recall that my start number 3, was going to be Tempting Tangles Peacock Panoply of Peacocks on this lovely fat quarter of 40 count Silver Fern by Country Stitch. Now, I've been planning this 50 at 50 for 9 months, give or take. And been spreadsheeting and doing little cards. Anyway, somehow, most of my projects, when I've calculated the fabric, I've written on the back of the card that I need this piece by this piece, and I've allowed a 2.5 inch border or a 4 inch border or a 2 inch border, depending on what it is and how much fabric I've got. Like in most cases, 2 inches is fine. You might want more if you want to do a mat. If it's a small thing, you don't need a 3 inch border for a tiny. Anyway, for some reason, when I went to get my kit out to start Panoply of Peacocks on Sunday afternoon, and I hadn't written down what my margin was that I had allowed for when I calculated my fabric. So I do a quick little tot up and I realise I don't have enough fabric. The fabric that I have, the fat quarter of 40 count Silver Fern from Country Stitch, is not big enough to stitch Panoply of Peacocks. It doesn't fit on a fat quarter. I had enough fabric to just fit it one way and maybe 3 rows the other way. Like, it literally is a fat quarter of 40 count. I need bigger than that. And I'm like, how could I have made such a rookie mistake? So at least I checked and I didn't just go, oh, I'll allow a 2 inch border, it'll be fine. It might be 3 inches, but I can do a 2 inch. Because I started at the bottom and I wouldn't have known for ages that the damn thing wouldn't fit on the fabric. I would have been missing a quarter of the bloody thing. Anyway, so I bought that fat quarter especially for that project. So I couldn't start Panoply of Peacocks. I'm going to have to order another piece of fabric. I have to chat with Catherine whether she'll do me a custom cut, because I don't want to pay for a fat half and then end up with a skinny piece of 40 count Silver Fern. It doesn't matter if I do, but I know I don't need a fat half. I just need more than a fat quarter. I need about 4 inches either way. So talk about a rookie mistake. And I was so mad, but mostly because I wanted to start it. I made such a big song and dance about silk versus cotton and anyway, I have already I've got my orders in with Catherine for the next couple of months, so probably I'll order, I think April, I might ask her to do the fabric in April. Meanwhile, that fat quarter, I'm just going to put it aside. I might actually look at selling it on D-Stash, or I'll keep it for if I ever get to 1,000 subscribers. I don't know. It's just, you know, it's like $55 worth of fabric, so I just don't know that I'd use it. I don't know. I would use it maybe in 5 years, but I don't know. Anyway, so guess what? Start number 3 was not Panoply of Peacocks. So I had to duck and dive and shift and twirl. So Panoply of Peacocks will be started later in the year when I get my big ass piece of Silver Fern 40 count. And I pulled forward start number 4 is now start number 3, and you'll recall that's the small that I got you all to vote on the other week. So I'm glad I did that a week early. And it was the Be Happy chart that was from the Primitive Hare, that was in the Just Cross Stitch June 2016 magazine, which I got from Redley. There's the details there of the chart. So it's actually B with 2 E's, Be Happy, as in buzz buzz, Be Happy. And yeah, I don't even know if I mentioned it was a Primitive Hare chart. And I stitched it on a scrap of 36 count legacy linen from Picture This Plus that I had left over from when I did The Pilgrim by Long Dog. And I started it on the 30th of January, so I started that on Sunday and I finished it on Monday, on the 31st of January. So that's my first 50/50 finish. That was start number 3 and I finished it. I actually intended to have it FFO'd as well, but I need to go to a secondhand shop and look for a frame. It will fit perfectly. On 36 count, it will, on 36 count over dyed linen, so it's probably slightly tighter than that, it will fit perfectly in a 5x7 frame with about a quarter, like an 1/8 of an inch around. So I need to go look for a secondhand frame or a nice wooden, cheap wooden frame. But I got it finished. Actually quite a lot of stitching. I made a couple of little tweaks to it. I can't remember where. It is all the called for flosses. That gold that's in the chart from Gentle Arts is beautiful. Probably used on with one strand, just over half a skein. And I changed something. What did I change? Oh, I changed her skin, which is still like, honestly, she's Ghost Lady, but she was even paler than this. You can barely see her skin on her face and on her hand. It's like, what? 5, 6, 10, 12 stitches of skin. And I had made her a slightly more olive, but she was so pale. She still is, but anyway, that's the only, I think that's the only change I actually made. I might have tweaked, oh, there was an error on one of these bees' wings up here. There was a couple of random stitches on the chart that went up this way, so I tweaked, obviously didn't do those. So a couple of little things, and I just put a little bit of personalisation down there. And there was some confusing instructions about the ornamentation in her hair. I did some, did I do long stitches? I did back stitches, but I did an extra little row because it had 2 different colours. One of them, it was under the back stitch instructions, and then one of saying use this colour brown, which is the only place you use that brown in the whole chart. And another place on the chart it said hair ornament long stitches. I'm like, what hair ornament? So I think I picked the colour that it said to do the hair ornament in, but I did back stitching and I just changed the back stitching a little bit. And then because that was the only place you'd use that shade of that brown, I then stitched my initials in that same colour just down the bottom there. So just put 2022. So yeah, it's so cute. So it's going to have a little frame, but hopefully a little vintage, if I find a nice little vintage frame, but just a medium tone wooden frame probably. And I'm really happy with it, and I think it's really sweet. So again, be happy, Primitive Hare, the Just Cross Stitch magazine, June 2016, which you can get on Redley. We can get that free for a month or 2, or pay for a subscription. Recommend. So that, again, that was unexpected. You didn't expect to see that, did you? Because you expected to see a panoply of peacocks. So now I needed a new start number 4, and I decided, I do have more stitching to show you, but I'll show you what my start number 4 is going to be. And one of the reasons why I was going to start this, I am going to start this. I was going to start this tomorrow with my friend Carolyn. Carolyn gifted me this chart, and she was going to come around and stitch tomorrow. However, she's at home on antibiotics and waiting a COVID test. So she's in isolation until she gets a negative test, but also I don't want a flu anyway if it's just the flu. So I'm going to have a stitchy session with her tomorrow on like Messenger or something, and I'll stitch this, but I'll probably start it. I might start it this afternoon. And it's just a Lena Lawson needle arts featuring the artwork of Pascal, is it Mugaru? And this is Alpha Lounging, and it's a hideous chart, as in I don't like how the chart is charted. It's a colour chart, I don't like colour charts, but it will be fine. And there's a whole lot of, like, it's random how they do the, you know, it's the software. So these are the full stitches, full X's, and you've got blends. Then you've got the same symbols again, but showing as half stitches, aka fractional. They mean fractional stitches, because I'll be doing some fractionals, not just half stitches. And then the same again with petite stitches. So in her wings, she is there's a whole lot of petite stitches in her wings, which Karen's done one of these, and it's really cute. It looks lovely, but she bought Aida and then regretted that because she didn't realise there were petite stitches because you didn't know. But anyway, so it's a physical chart, and yeah, I'm going to start that. And I'm going to stitch it not on white Aida, I'm going to stitch it on this piece of 32 count platinum linen from Zweigart, just to give it a bit of, you know, don't like white. Called for DMC. I'll probably start that this afternoon, then I'll stitch with that tomorrow with her. So that's why I brought that forward, because we are planning to stitch together. It just was going to be in person, and now it's going to be over Messenger. And that's quite exciting. It's not huge, but there's just a whole lot of stitching. At least all the blue is just full crosses, as in no petite stitches, so should be good. So quite excited, because I've had that for a while. She gave that to me ages ago, and I just haven't had the right time to start it. So that will be start number 4, which was a bit of a surprise start, but I mean, you know, 4 starts in, it's already gone all to hell in a handbasket, but it will be fine. What else have I stitched on? I've stitched on a couple of other things. A new month means we had the mini bouquet sampler from Jeannette Douglas, the monthly sale that she's releasing on her website, which I'm stitching on 40 count Haystack from Country Stitch, and just stitching from stash, just pulling. Okay, this is how I'm storing them. I've run out of floss rings. It's literally like whenever I pick a colour, it goes in the bag, and then just the bag, and then I will try and use those colours again unless I need a colour that I haven't used before. So I've kind of got 3 or 4 greens and 3 or 4 browns and stuff, so it's a bit of a mess. I need to sort that out. I wrote allow a 2 3/4 border, like I write on the back of the cards, but I didn't for panoply. So in case you've forgotten, looks like it's going to look like that. We got the border before January. That was the pineapple, and then February was these cute little hearts. And it's spring, so there's 3 charts. Oh, I've just folded it and creased it now, but anyway. So I whipped up February the other day, and it's quite sweet. It's just, I'm using all sorts of random stuff. I've got Tom and Lily threads, Victorian Motto sampler threads, Threadworks, and then the big 3. So I've got some classic colour works, Gentle Arts and Weeks. I'll just use whatever. I think I've even got a Silks for You in there. So it is literally just a bits and bobs sampler, and I think it's lovely. It's hard to see the border, but it is there. It's just an ecru, and it is subtle, but I quite like that. So yeah, that was February. Took an episode of something I was watching, a couple of hours to do, maybe hour and a half. So that is up to date, finished for now. And then sometime during the week, I thought, you know what, hasn't seen the light of day for ages. You're going to fall off your chair for this one. I don't think I have a mock-up of the finished. I need to get one. Anyway, it's a free series sale on Liz Armand's website, Blackwork Journey, and it's Save the Stitches. And I started this on the 1st of January last year, and it's going to take me a while to finish because it's quite massive, and I pretty much ignored it after February. 28 count Antique White Lugana, using kind of the called for few substitutions. So I'm using DMC Pearl number 12, and that's for the X's, and then DMC 310 single strand for the black work, but also some of the black work I'm using DMC Diamant metallic in gold, copper and pewter, as well as a matching Mill Hill beads. And I picked it up and I got the 3rd block done, which is these two here and this whole section here. So pretty much it's the top row done now, first 3 blocks, and it is very stitch heavy. I love how within each of the blocks the designs change. They're not solid all the way through. Sometimes you do the partial blocks, sometimes you switch to metallics. So, and then there's the beads as well. So this one has a bead and this one's filled with copper beads. And I really love this piece, and I want to give it more love this year because I got overwhelmed with Blackwork last year and I did too many other Blackwork pieces, yet I've seen this finish, it's stunning. So yeah, I'm going to try and give it some more love and all that. And every time I pick it up the first time, I go, oh my god, I'm so lost. And then you get the border in, and then just start on each block, and then you kind of get your eye in, and you sort of then see the pattern, and then it goes pretty quickly. But yeah, I'm not gonna stop working on this. This is gonna be, I guess, it's gonna be quite a focus this year. I don't think I'll get it finished, but I'd like to get significant progress on it. Again, I don't have a picture of the finished design. I might try and remember to print that. Anyway, I keep that in a Judith bag. It's my vintage mermaids, my sort of pin-up mermaid bag, which I love. And just, you know, projects that are going to have a long time get a really nice bag. And then I picked up another project, and this one I'm kind of pushing a bit for a finish. So I picked up Sunrise by Carolyn Designs. It's one of her shooting star geometrics. I'm just doing the big design at this stage, and I'm stitching this on Tom and Lily Creations fabric, 20 count Aida dyed Soleil, using called for just ones. I'm in the process of colour completing now, and as I complete a colour, I then take it off the card and go and wind any significant threads back on my bobbin. And I think this morning I started with about 970 stitches remaining of this 972, and I've got about 300 left, so I'll get that finished today, that colour, and then I've got way too much floss pulled for that one. So yeah, this is where we're at. So I'm about 80, just over 82% now. I think when I picked it up I was 69%, I think. So I've done about 12% yesterday and today. And that colour I told you about, I'm just working my way up. I've just got a little bit to do through here, and then that colour will be completed. So yeah, it's just slowly colour completing, and mostly I've just got stitching to do in this quarter, and it's nearly done. So yeah, I see a finish for this now, so I'm going to keep working on that as well to get that finished, and then I can pick up Sunset. You know, they are really lovely designs, and she has so many shooting stars. If you haven't gone and had a look at Carolyn Manning, she has lots of different themes, but I've got a couple of Carolyn Mannings in the box, but I want to finish both of these before I pick up another one, especially the full coverage one, which is the 10,000 Lakes. That was a chart of a physical chart gifted to me by Chris Canada. So I am not going to start that until I have finished these two, because I don't need 3 full coverage Carolyn Mannings on to go at one time. That's it. So yeah, that's had a little bit of love, and as I said, I'm, you know, not isolating, but just avoiding people. Working from home, no commute, I get lots of stitching done. So it has been quite a stitch heavy week. What else? That's pretty much it. I I'm going to, I had dinner with friends last night. It was sort of a late birthday dinner. It was the first chance we had to get together, and Kelly made a brisket ragu with pappardelle and then a chocolate cheesecake for dessert. I made a couple of loaves of no-knead bread, and we enjoyed that with some olive oil and I took some dukkha, and she had a couple of others. We had 3 different kinds of dukkha. That was delicious because bread, oil and spices, I mean really life is complete. And I took on some Prosecco as well. So we had a lovely evening, just a quiet little family gathering with her family. And then got a video chat this afternoon with my scrapbooking gals. My friend Katie just had a knee replacement on Tuesday, so she's sort of at home recovering. So we'll have a chat, and then I'm going to have brunch with another friend and her husband tomorrow, before I then have a stitchy chat with Carolyn in the afternoon. So that is my day. Pretty quiet, I don't mind, and I'm just enjoying the cold, enjoying the rain. Hopefully it helps the grass not die fully, and yeah, it'll be a 4-day week next week, and then I think that's the last weekend we've got until April, when we have Easter and Anzac Day. So March is going to be a long month with no holidays or long weekends. It's going to be a full-on month, so I'm enjoying this day off while I can. Bit of a rambly one today. I thank you for coming along and watching my video, and thanks everybody for their kind comments. Don't forget to let me know if you are on like Instagram or something. I'm terrible at Instagram. I just don't have time. I don't have time to make it look good. You can tell by this video, right? My dodgy video production quality. It's a lot. It's a lot to do everything, and if it doesn't bring you joy, which Instagramming doesn't really bring me joy, but I enjoy looking on Instagram. We'll see, we might change that later this year, but not for a little while. But yeah, let me know, and also especially when your name isn't your username, or I don't always know who everybody is, and yeah, and especially if you follow me but you're private, if you want me to follow you back, you'll need to message me on Instagram and say, hey, I'm XYZ, I'm Mary and I follow you on YouTube, this is my Instagram, follow me back if you want me to, if you want to share your stitching. But I don't, unless I know who the person is or they ask me to, I don't ever ask to follow a private channel, because I'm like, it's private for a reason. You'll tell me if you want. So yeah, reach out if you want me to follow you on Instagram. I'm quite happy to do that, but I just don't go looking, or I don't go looking for people to follow. Does that make sense? And I'm really, yeah, I don't, anyway, I already said it. I don't go looking for people to follow, but I'm happy to follow people. I'm very lazy, so, and I try not to be too intrusive. So if you want me to, excellent. If you don't, that's fine. But I just won't ask you, who are you and should I follow you? Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Well, it's 12:01 and I might make myself a sandwich and get this edited and uploaded, and I look forward to seeing you next week. I have no idea what start number 5 is. I probably got it written down on my journal, but I haven't looked at my journal since last week, and I don't know what will it be. It's going to be a surprise for me as well as you, but I'll get started on Alice for Lounging this afternoon, and I will finish up that yellow colour on the sunrise as well. Other than that, who knows what the week will bring. Take care, keep safe, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.